So I've had to stretch this thing on and off of here 3 or 4 times. This right out of the package, you end up getting needle and thread, and it's actually pretty high quality. Yeah, there's 2 needles inside here with thread attached to them already, and then I put this cover on. The first time it was really hard to get it start at the bottom and pull your hands up to get it up over this. I wanted to see how it fits and leave it on there overnight, maybe help it stretch a little bit more. But I pulled it off several times, and it got easier each time I pulled it off to actually put it on here. This stuff feels real nice. This don't feel fake. I mean, it's probably fake, let's face it, but it feels real. It's a really nice perforated material, but I just couldn't get past the OCD side of me. I needed that line to match up with the thread of the vehicle perfectly, and it kept ending up on one side or the other. Now I finally got it to a spot where it actually lines up with the thread of the center of the steering wheel, and then I wanted to evenly gap it, so when I pulled the thread through, I know you guys can't see very much right now, but the holes are already there for you to thread this through. And it was just in this kit here, 15-inch gray, made in China, Amazon. I linked it in my previous video, and they actually give you a block of instructions inside this. So I started the car up about 35 minutes ago. Got everything warm inside. You see I'm outside right now, and turn this temperature down because I'm dying in here. Better take this jacket off. I had this stretched on the wheel last night. It was difficult to get on. You had to start at the bottom, and like I said in the previous part of this video I made last night, I wanted to get the stitching right here lined up with the stitching of the steering wheel. You can see here how I've already got it started. I put like a knot on the back side right here and ran it through to have the knot on the back instead of the front. It's probably not the ideal way to do it, but that's how I did it. And you can see how I came across right here, and then I jumped back, or I jumped down 2 holes, came across directly across, and then I went back up 2 holes. Then I came back down 1, and then you see how my pattern started here. I come across and go underneath, come across, go underneath, and you see here I'm skipping skip a hole, skip a hole, skip a hole, skip a hole. So I keep coming over the top and back underneath, over the top and back underneath, and in between each thread there's a hole, front and back. And then when I got down here to the seam, I'm going to try to show you one of them. It's going to be very difficult to do it with one hand. I want to try to reinforce the seam a little bit more. So once I did my skip a hole, go across, skip a hole, come back in one of the eyelids where the split's at, right here, I jumped right across to the other side and went back to the opposite side hole where the seam is over here. Went through one hole of the seam, came back to the other side of the seam. Now I'm going to continue going, hoping that I can keep the same pattern. But what I did was I tried to reinforce that area, because this needle and thread they give you with the kit, and it's really, really good. So let's see here. I would skip that hole. It's going to be very difficult to do this with one hand for sure, so I'll try. Let me get this thread pulled down underneath here. So I have one hole here, and then I'm back. So I'm going to consider that as skipping a hole, and then I'm going to go back here. Pull it through. Sometimes it can get jumbled up. Don't pull it super tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on the back side. You're probably not going to be able to see this very good. And I'm going to go straight across. And then I'm going to go back to skipping my holes. So there. back through. Don't pull super fast on this thread because you will knot it up and then you'll be, I've already done it. Pull there. I didn't pull it super tight yet. I'll show you how to pull it tight if you get into a spot where you have to. And then I'm going to go back over the top. Remember, my thread's underneath the steering wheel right now. I'm going to go back over the top, skip a hole, and I'm over here now. No, actually I'll be right here. So hard to do this one-handed. Really need two hands. Come on, damn it. I'll go back. Pull it through. Get it a little snug. Now if I want to go back and, you know, tighten something up, say I have a really loose area, I'll actually take this here, the needle, get under one of them, and I'll give the threads a little tug. Just tug on it a little bit. It'll pull what's upstream. Use it as a little leverage, and then you can go on the back side of where it goes through. Same thing. Pull there. And go here under this top thread. And as I was saying, I got this pulled here, and then pulled that tight right there. And now I'll pull it through. Pull this tight here. Come over here and pull this tight. There's no easy way to video this. And I'll pull this tight. And now it's all closed up. And then I'll just keep going and let me do some of that and show you what it looks like. Okay, the bottom is done. Just I fed it through these eyelets back and forth a few times, and I actually ended it right here on the back and just trimmed it off even. And you can see my little knot back here that's kind of hidden. So now I'm going to do the top. Okay, I'm about halfway done with the top now. You can see some of the pattern here. It's working really well. I still got this section here to do, so that's what I'm working on now. And let's see if I can show you one-handed. And then I jump over to the other side, I skip one, go here, and my last thread was here, so I'll skip one and then I'll go here. If at any time something becomes loose, you can go back and pick at the front side, pull, pull, pull while keeping tension on this side. Use the needle with the other hand and pull your slack out of it, and it'll stay. I'm gonna keep going. Let's finish this. So now what I'm doing here is, you see I came to the end. I'm kind of coming up. I'm jumping a bunch of spots so I could actually pull. As I pull the thread, it pulls the material back down, and I'm going to work this area right here to get it pulled back down. So if I do have to use a little bit of leather glue behind it, it won't be so bad, but I'm going to try to do it without it. Well, there she is in all her glory. What I did was I came up through the top, pulled down, came up through the top, pulled down, came up through the top, pulled down here, went down inside this, pulled up, and I started threading it in behind here. You see this little part right here I got to chop off. I just got to trim. You could pull your slack out of these corners by doing it that way, and you don't have to use any glue. Well, that's it. There she is. Pretty damn nice, man. Pretty nice. I'm happy with that.